Hello, students, teachers, parents, history nerds. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Nutshelled History, where we lay out the facts, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We continue with our modern world history series by looking at the more developed world. Don't forget that there's a link for a fill-in-the-blank worksheet in the description. Feel free to use it. I just ask that you like and subscribe. I apologize for any mispronunciations ahead of time. I do my best. Okay, let's go. The end of the Cold War brought major changes to the world economy and balance of power. The division between communist Eastern and democratic Western Europe came to an end. At the same time, new challenges emerged, including a rise in unemployment, immigration from the developing world, and growing discrimination against foreigners. One welcome change was the reunification of Germany. However, East Germany's economy was weak and had to be modernized. In the 1990s, the European Economic Community became the European Union. The euro soon became the common currency for most of Western Europe. More than a dozen new countries have joined the EU, including some southeastern European nations. However, the EU faced many challenges, such as Brexit or the departure of Britain. During the 1990s, Europe also faced violent conflict in multi-ethnic former Yugoslavia, a region of many ethnic groups. There, the violence included ethnic cleansing, or the forced removal of members of specific ethnic groups by their enemies. Progress was made on solving one long-standing conflict in Europe. After violence between Catholics and Protestants that lasted for 3 decades in British-controlled Northern Ireland, both sides signed a peace accord, known as the Good Friday Agreement, in 1998. After the breakup of the Soviet Union, Russia struggled to forge a market economy. In 1998, Russia defaulted on much of its foreign debt. Vladimir Putin has controlled Russia since 2000 and has helped rebuild Russia's economy, though much of it is controlled by oligarchs or a small number of powerful people. Putin also increased government power at the expense of civil liberties. In the United States, an economic boom in the 1990s produced a budget surplus. Within a decade, however, slow economic growth, soaring military expenses, and tax cuts led to huge budget deficits. In 2008, a financial crisis shook the American economy, sparking a global recession. President Obama responded with a multi-billion-dollar economic stimulus package to revive the economy, which gradually recovered. Under President Donald Trump, economic growth continued, but a tax cut increased the government's budget deficit. Beginning in the 1990s, a sharp division or polarization between Republican conservatives and Democratic liberals has grown in the United States. Polarization has made it difficult for Republicans and Democrats to compromise on issues and resolve problems. In 2018, the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement replaced NAFTA. This agreement gives the U.S. stronger protections. The Pacific Rim nations have become a rising force in the global economy. Among these powerhouses are the Asian tigers, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore, and South Korea, which are known for their electronics exports. All of these economies suffered during the global recession that began in 2008, but all have recovered and continue to grow, largely as a result of growing trade with China. For decades, Japan dominated the region. However, by the 1990s, Japan's economy began to suffer. Even with setbacks, Japan continues to be the world's third largest economy after the United States and China. The rise of China into an economic superpower brought benefits and problems for its neighbors in the Asian-Pacific region. Some countries benefited from increased trade, loans, and investments by China. At the same time, they were also concerned about China's military growth and economic power. All right, and now a recap. The end of the Cold War had Europe doing a major rebrand, dropping its us versus them mentality between East and West, but not without a few bumps. The fall of the Berlin Wall and the reunification of Germany were like a heartwarming makeover show, but with a sad, broke East Germany needing a serious economic upgrade. The EU came to life, swapping its economic community status for a shiny new name and currency, the euro, but then faced some drama with Brexit and the Balkan mess that made Game of Thrones look like a family picnic. Meanwhile, Russia, post-Soviet collapse, was a chaotic mess of debt and oligarchs until Putin stepped in and said, "Let's make Russia great again, but at the cost of personal freedoms." The US had a financial high in the 90s until it was followed by a nosedive, a global recession, and President Obama's heroic economic pep talk, which, spoiler alert, didn't last long. Then there was Trump, tax cuts, and a budget deficit that could make a banker cry. And while the Pacific Rim was having its own party, with the Asian tigers showing off their tech, Japan's economy started limping, making everyone nervous about China's rising dominance and how that could end up looking like a Pacific power struggle with a side of trade loans and military flexing. There you have it, folks. That is the more developed world, nutshelled. Thanks for stopping by Nutshelled History, a channel that will be more developed if you smash those like and subscribe buttons for me. See y'all next time on Nutshelled History.